So, what we're going to talk about today is what I call the ladder of prosperity. And so I'm going to go to the whiteboard in a second. But the thing is, when you look at you know, what is your future? Where do you want to go? Right. And you have to think in terms of, all right, where am I now versus where do I want to be financially? And what's in the interim there is what we call the gap. And what is the gap from getting you where you are to where you want to be? So, the first question I think is, let me share my screen here, is what is it that where are you trying to go? Right. And so, my goal at Practical Wealth is to move people up through the prosperity ladder. Right. So, when we look at my fifth principle and our five principles, the goal is right here, right? So your goal is financial freedom, which is a capability, which means that so when we look at your cash flow, see, a lot of people are focused on net worth. And which is okay, that's important, but I view that as a lag indicator. And what you want to do in asset in rich dad language is something that puts money in your pocket, right? And so that is represented here, right? So your goal is to have this number equal this number. So in this example, this client's has $244,000 of income. So financial freedom might represent that 244,000. So if we look at it this way and you only have $500 a month, then you're $238,000 short. Now you can look at this, I just want enough money to cover my expenses, or twice your expenses. But you have to think in terms, because what we've been taught is to invest for capital gains, right? It's buy low, sell high, and it's all equity based. But if you're going to think in terms of financial freedom, should all your money just be going into a pool of money that you can't touch? The other thing we get into is what's the engine that's really driving this for you business owners is the business cash flow. Now, you might be paying yourself a salary out of that, but you've got to grow this. So another talk I'll do the 3 ways to grow your revenue, 4 ways to grow your revenue, actually. So you got to work on growing this, because see, the business is really the engine that drives the car. But let's talk about where you're starting from. So let's say you're starting at 0. And so I got this from Kim Butler's, it came from Busting the Financial Planning Lies, but it also is republished in one of my favorite books, which is the Perpetual Wealth. And so that's a great book. That's kind of like the third or fourth book I have people read when we take them through the banking process, right, of how to build a legacy of wealth and wisdom, right? So our 4 goals when we work with people are 4 pillars of a strong personal economy: freedom from debt to others, liquidity, ready cash you need it, passive or asset-based income you don't have to work for and you cannot live. That's this, right? And a legacy of wealth and wisdom. So in our principles-based planning model, that's this, right? For replacement of assets at death, that's which makes that happen is life insurance and your entities, your wills and trusts. So, we use this model so we can have conversations about every aspect of your finances on one page. Okay. So you're going to move from, I'm going to do a part 2 of this. You want to move from poverty to subsistence to comfort to prosperity. So now how do you go from 0 to 1, right? Poverty to subsistence. Well, you got to work. That means you have to subject yourself to initially discipline of being able to get up. You're initially selling your labor. Hopefully, you're getting some experience from that. And then you have to have income, right? So, this is the first part of our money for life formula: earn money, then bank it, right? So, earn it. To move to subsistence, you've got to save it. So, we teach at a minimum 15 to 20% of your gross income, and that gets you subsistence. Now, with this capital, you should be buying or building assets. So, what moves you to comfort is you have to own stuff, real estate, businesses. You have to get into ownership. The United States, the magic that makes the United States work is that we have the ability to own private property, to own land, to have title to land. So that's how you get to comfort. So folks, this is the magic. So a lot of people get stuck here, and if you lose your job, you can fall right back. I don't care if you're making 200 grand a year, you could fall back into poverty. So this is, don't get stuck here, right? And then you want to move to comfort. Comfort is you're okay as long as everything's okay. So this is where we go back to, all right, you got to play defense, you got to save, you got to protect the kingdom, right? You got to build a moat around your castle. You want to have liquidity. Most people are just don't save nowhere near enough money. For a report on this, I want you to text Be the Bank, BETHEBANK, to 55444, and you're going to get my free report, The Value of Liquidity. And then from here, as you're buying or building cash flowing assets, you can move up to the top ladder, which is prosperity and beyond, where you're creating financial freedom, which is a capacity where you have passive income equal or greater to your expenses, but you're living like you want to live. I quote Jim Rohn's definition, like you want to live from the income from your personally invested assets. So you can live off of your assets. That's what you're working for. So that's the ladder of prosperity. Just wanted to do a little short clip on this. Hit us up on our link tree, or go to practicalwealthsolutions.net. And if you'd like to hear more about this, click on the tab that says Be the Bank. All right, so here's my short Practical Wealth Minute.